So here we have the BlackBerry Q10. It's immediately recognisable as a BlackBerry because it's got a physical QWERTY keyboard. It runs the BlackBerry 10 operating system, and as such it could probably be described as the flagship BlackBerry phone of the current generation. Its main rival to that claim, of course, is the BlackBerry Z10, which is the original BlackBerry 10 handset, and that doesn't have the physical keyboard. Looks much more like most smartphones that you see on the market these days. Now, in order to get this physical QWERTY keyboard, there are some sacrifices that have to be made. Number one, most obviously, is that the display is a square display and it's only 3.1 inches. That's okay, but compared to most modern smartphones, that's really quite small. The other thing is that this is quite a fat and squat device. It's roughly 2.5 centimeters thick, which is very thick for a phone. Although it's by no means huge, compare it to the Z10, which is broadly a similar shape to the iPhone 5, and which is in turn smaller than the Samsung Galaxy S4 or the HTC One. You can see that it's quite small, but it is thick, it's chunky, it's a squat device. It's not particularly sleek or sexy, I guess. What it feels like with this very strong reinforced plastic build and these metallic trim edges, it feels solid. It feels like it really could stand up to the rigours of life on the road with a business person. And we carried it around in our bag for a few days, and it really didn't pick up any scratches or damage at all. We go into it and it's BlackBerry 10. I quite like BlackBerry 10. It's an interesting operating system. It's different from the other major players on the market. The usual things, you swipe from the bottom to go to your home screen, you swipe in from the left to see messages in the message hub. Again, email is front and centre with this device. It's a business tool. It's meant for people receiving notifications and replying to them on the move. But of course, the downsides of BlackBerry 10 are pretty well known. There aren't many apps in BlackBerry world. BlackBerry users argue with this from time to time, but really there are several key apps missing, not least of which is YouTube. You get this YouTube shortcut on the homepage. It looks like an app, but in fact it just opens up your web browser and takes you to the YouTube homepage, which is okay, but it's clearly not as good as having a bespoke app. Performance wise, things are pretty good. Not amazing. We ran all our usual benchmarks. The results are kind of in the middle of the pack, which is disappointing for a phone that costs in principle at least £579, which puts it at the very top rank. In practice, what we found was it works pretty well. Occasionally you'd have some sort of slow moments as you're transitioning between windows, and also we found on a couple of occasions it did freeze when we were putting it under extreme load. Battery life's pretty good, and that's important because if this is going to be a work tool, you want a device that's going to last for at least a whole day, and that's definitely been our experience. Is you can get more than a day's use out of it. BlackBerry claims you can get 2 days use, which we didn't find to be the case, but the display itself is very crisp and clear. It's more than 300 pixels per inch, so it's up there with the best phones in terms of clarity and definition. The only real issue is that because of this 1:1 aspect ratio, it's 720 by 720 pixels. Looking at photos, it's kind of odd because these days we're used to seeing them in widescreen really. Similarly, videos in particular, I think, are a bit of an issue with this phone. You know, these days you can watch on your smartphone a movie or a TV series and you hold it to the side and it's a really nice widescreen display. Well, that isn't the case with the BlackBerry Q10. Something to bear in mind. I'm not a big fan personally of using physical QWERTY keyboards. I much prefer to use a touchscreen, and in particular the BlackBerry Z10's touchscreen is brilliant because of the way predicted text works. But as physical keyboards go, this is pretty good. As you're typing away, you get good response from the keys. There's good travel. I also like the fact that the keys are well spaced out. There's a good gap between each line. And their texture as well. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a textured feel to the end of each key. So even when you're typing without being able to see, you can definitely feel the difference between each key. As physical QWERTY keyboards go, it's very good. It's well built. It feels like it's built to last. It's very expensive. We have found it online for around £500. That still puts it up right up there with the top smartphones on the market. And in terms of multimedia, in terms of using the display for entertainment, in terms of the camera, which is a fairly basic 8-megapixel camera, it simply isn't up there. What this is a business workhorse with a physical QWERTY keyboard. As such, we expect it's going to be purchased mainly for people to use by their work, by their employer, in which case that 500 quid may not seem like quite as much of a big deal. And if you do need a physical QWERTY keyboard, this is about the best phone we've seen.